Oh, hello there. Don't be alarmed. We're just preparing your listening device for ScubaRadio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving. We do this, of course, by filling your radio with water. Don't worry, we're professionals. Thanks to me, you won't even get wet. You see, I've crammed every appendage of my body into the cracks and crevices of your radio, ensuring an airtight seal. By the way, don't touch your on-off knob. That's a very sensitive area. Anyway, I should remind you, we believe in the buddy system just like diving, so don't listen alone. Call your buddy and tell them that ScubaRadio is about to begin.
We're gonna start a new life under the sea.
So, am I gonna drown?
Of course not. Just stay calm and let the gentle currents relax your every muscle.
Under the sea, under the sea.
Did it just get warmer?
There'll be no accusations, just friendly crustaceans under the sea.
Where the hell are the sharks?
And now, here's your dive guide for ScubaRadio, Greg the Dive Master.
And welcome. This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ's in the studio with me.
What up?
Well, how you doing, man?
Good.
You weren't here last week. You missed it. It was quite a party. It was quite a party, and you were not missed at all.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, but
word on the street.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're back. I am.
Sure seems like it.
Yeah, because there's no one else with us other than Barry the Bugger and right now Pete from Scuba Board. Everyone else is boycotted the show today because of your return, I believe.
What a bunch of bitches.
Okay, there's that. No, I don't know. Everyone's just running late.
Yeah, but we're both Pete and I are here.
So that's all we need? Is that what you're trying to say, Barry?
I'm just saying we're loyal to the core.
Loyal to the core.
Saying I'm here is probably pushing it. I'm present.
Okay. Well, it's been a while for Pete from Scuba Board, and it's good to have him along for the party today.
Vinny's here.
Oh, man, we got Vinny Two Tanks. All right, they're showing up slowly but surely. But, yeah, we're missing Bubble Boy, Mermaid Kristen.
And we're all blue-shirted today.
And Jerry the Diver Guy. What happened? We are. Everyone's wearing, look at that. Everyone's wearing their Scuba Jet T-shirt. Did we plan this? How did that happen?
That was totally random.
We are color chlorinated.
Must be laundry day.
Scuba Board shirt.
Okay, well, Pete is the odd one out. But you can see this.
He is the captain and CEO of Scuba Board, right?
That's right.
Which is why I haven't been on, Greg. We've been updating our site. We're on a brand new version of Scuba Board.
Okay, well,
awesome.
There you go. All right. Well, I mean, and I assume that's a good thing. It's bigger,
awesome
better,
thing.
Yeah, and all that kind of good stuff. New shirts.
It's much quicker, much quicker, and more features, more fun. And I still have hair on my head. It's awesome.
Okay. I'm not sure what that means. You were like pulling on it quite a bit while you're setting up for this new launch.
You've never upgraded a website, have you, Greg?
Why? Well, unfortunately,
not a
yes.
good one.
Well, true. It wasn't that funny, Vinny. But yeah, well, I'm glad you have all your hair, and the launches went well for Scuba Board. So
yeah, I want to give a shout out to Miyaru, who is our lead technician. All this, man, he was just awesome. Everything was done. Everything was great.
Yeah,
we've only had a couple complaints that people can now actually get to us, and they don't get to have coffee while they're waiting for us to load.
Okay, all right. Well, while you're dropping a load, you got to be careful how you the people you work with, and is that how it is?
Yeah,
nothing really.
Let's move on.
So I'm looking over at CJ. He's just letting me die.
I'm not touching that
He's
one,
like,
man. Come on.
Anyway,
come on, Greg.
All right,
tighten it up, kid.
But anyway, you can go on ScubaBoard.com, check out the new format, the whole thing, and take advantage of it, and talk about diving and God knows what, I guess, right?
Is that it? Dying.
And not dying, yes. Yeah, part of scuba diving is not dying when you go underwater. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Nothing, other.
It's pretty much every activity.
Well, okay, I guess there's that. We have that in common with many other sports and activities. You are correct. But look, we're at that time of the season where it's, we need to discuss our plans for the end of the month for Halloween. And so, I wanted to bring the crew on today and discuss, among other things that we're going to cover, What type of Halloween dives would you like to participate in that you've maybe seen on the interwebs and things like that? Underwater pumpkin carving. Have you ever done that, CJ? You've never done that, have you?
No.
Does that sound appealing to you?
I mean, I guess I'd watch it.
Okay, so you don't sound too enthusiastic about that concept.
Nah.
What about a spooky dive? Have you ever done a spooky dive, Barry? Have you ever done one of those?
I have no idea what a spooky dive is, other than diving at night or at dusk.
Well, okay, that would be kind of spooky, wouldn't it? That would be a spooky dive.
With
Yeah, I
no
don't-
lights.
No lights. All right,
Oh,
Vinny
forget
Two
that.
Tanks.
I'm staying home.
What do you mean? You go down, you do a night dive, no lights, you just use the asylum sticks maybe. Turn off your torches and just do a night. You've done that, Pete, right? With
I
this,
haven't done it actually without any lights.
without any lights. Well, you do your spooky dive. Well, I don't know. Is that for Halloween or the thing that you do at Ginny Springs is at the end of the year?
Well, actually, we've stopped doing it. They've become a little bit more rule heavy, and
Yeah.
it's like they made it unfun. So we don't do the Jenny thing. We used to do it in the spring and in the fall, right around this time. But
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you don't want us, we don't go.
Okay, but you've done those dives, and those are.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, we did what's called the Galaxy Dive.
right. But is that for
Where you fall
Halloween or is that
apart
for the end of the
silent.
year? Is that for a spooky kind of thing? Or
Yeah, no, we did that right around October 31st. That we always
Yeah.
had a dive at Ginny right then. We did it in what's called the ballroom.
yeah.
And so everybody is in there. It's a safe cave, I guess is the way of calling it, and it's a way to experience the cave without worrying about getting trapped. So it's open for open water divers.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that was fun.
But it's
We've also
spooky.
done-
It is definitely
it's a little
spooky.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because you're not using flashlights, you're just using the goo from a glow stick that floats in the water column, and
Yep.
it looks kind of spooky and eerie, and that kind of thing. But a lot of the dive shops across the country and around the world for that matter, I see these videos and I get these emails constantly of them running special Halloween dives where they'll set up like an underwater haunted wreck dive or something to that effect. And those look pretty cool. I mean, they'll put underwater skeletons and things like that. Casey the Tobacco Nut is with us right now. He's probably participated in such activities. Is that right,
I
Casey?
used to have the lake out behind Crazy Dog all haunted up with mannequins and glowing grave skulls and a little course.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that was just on any given weekend. That had nothing to do with Halloween. I mean,
and sometimes I'd get in the water and really scare people.
yeah, well, there's that, and that lake it was a pretty good place to ditch a body. If
they dive graveyards, Greg. There's a lot of those being done during this Halloween season.
Wait, dive a
What kind of
graveyard?
graveyard?
Yeah, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
when they make these dams, they sometimes inundate entire little towns, and I wouldn't call them cities.
Includes the graveyard.
Graves are there and
Yeah,
everything's
there
there.
is. That's true.
Really?
And,
No, I've never heard of diving an underwater graveyard. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, actually, I've talked about it here because someone got hurt on one when they had one of those plastic skeletons. They put air through it and it came up from behind the last gravestone and scared the person so much they went to the surface.
Oh, okay. But these were, like underwater graveyards that the dive shop set up. I'm saying
No.
What?
These are real.
And so wait. Well, then what floated up behind a gravestone and scared the
They had a
bejesus
dive
out?
master behind the gravestone. with a
Oh,
little
okay.
Plastic sheet
Playing
with
a
a
joke.
skeleton on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they made the ghost come out from behind the headstone, and that freaked them out.
And they
Okay.
darted to the surface, which would have been
Yeah, no,
bad.
there's a lot of stuff underwater that shouldn't be. You can dive the Great Wall of China, and there's towns and cities there that you can dive where they have those old graveyards as well. So there's a lot out there that you can get to and have really cool time and feel the shivers.
Well, I have no doubt. I mean, honestly, if you just dove with went diving with Jerry the Diver Guy, those that spirit that has been haunting him at his apartment that we've talked about the last month or two, I mean, that would be that'd creep me out.
It'd be a haunted surface interval at his house.
Well, that would, but I mean, I'm just saying they probably follow him, on his dives. That's why I said I'm not too keen about diving with Jerry, since he told us that story.
Bad mojo.
Yeah, bad juju. Yeah, it would be, and unless you're looking for that kind of experience, and maybe this is the time of year to do it. And we channel the, the underwater spirits to join us on a dive to kind of just add another element to our excitement and our adventure that we're not, generally participating in. What do you think? Was that a ghost I just heard?
I didn't hear anything.
I heard something. Here's something.
No idea.
Oh, God. More coming up. Stay close.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Need an escape from reality for a while? Your favorite scuba action star, Mike Scott, is back in an all-new audiobook, Cayman Cowboys: Reefs Under Pressure. From the brilliant mind of author Eric Douglas comes the thriller that started it all. Listen as Mike unravels the death of a girl, the protest of new development, and the systemic destruction of coral reefs, all against the stunning backdrop of Grand Cayman Island. This one's got it all: submarines, kidnapping, betrayal, and more.
He didn't even have fins or a mask to let him see in the water. He was going to be slow and blind. If it weren't for the float, he knew there would be no way he would ever make it to the surface. When he was ready and completely relaxed, he wrapped his arms through the straps of the seat cushion and gently slid into the water.
Dive back into adventure with Cayman Cowboys. Also available, Oil and Water, Return to Cayman, Turks and Chaos, and Lionfish. Download all 5 audiobooks now at Amazon, booksbyeric.com, or audible.com.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, no, Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of Scuba Radio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures Scuba Radio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio. The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio. Dive, dive, dive.
Hi, I'm Captain Slate from Captain Slate's Atlantis Dive Center in Florida, and you're listening to my good buddy and dive pal, Greg the Dive Master, from the world's first radio show devoted to diving, Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio. I love it.
Well, I do too, especially when he does it. It's priceless. Captain Slate, known for doing his underwater pumpkin carving contest dives this time of year. I know he's planning to do just the same here in the next week or two. So you can contact him down there if you want to join in those festivities. Those are happening all across the country. I got to say, I've never participated in an underwater pumpkin carving contest, though they sound like fun.
I assume you haul your pumpkin up when you're done, bring it with you back on the boat?
Well, yeah, and but they take it down underwater and then they carve it, and then I guess they judge it on. Well, it depends on.
Do the fish eat the seeds and all the pumpkin guts?
No, most of the places require no seeds. You have to de-seed them before you bring them down.
You have to de-seed them according to Vinny Two Tanks.
You know how many seeds are in those things?
A lot of seeds, pumpkin seeds.
I just happened to be reading about it on Jeff's site.
All right, look, we got a bunch of racket going on here. Jerry the diver guy has just joined us. Where the heck are you, Jerry?
Look, I am at Virginia Tech universities, the college.
The
We
college.
are partying, baby.
You're partying.
Tailgate.
Okay.
Hey, you finally became a college boy.
Yeah, but he went back to school
we're
finally.
Tailgate. Look at this.
Yeah, I see.
He's
it.
as happy as a schoolboy.
Look at him. Who's drunk?
No,
Yeah.
We're drunk.
Yeah, I had a
The
feeling.
oldest student there.
Yeah, that's your excuse for not joining us on Scuba Radio today? You're out tailgating? How dare you? How dare you?
Yes. What do you expect, Greg?
Well, I guess
We are alcohol or scuba radio. Which would you choose?
you're supposed to combine the two. That's what you do every Saturday. So why are you changing things up this week?
Well, hey, look, we need a kink in the bin.
I don't know what he said right there.
He added football to this one.
We need a kink in the bin.
Yeah, what is that?
Yes. Look.
I'm looking.
I am at the bend of the road. Look at this, Greg.
He's in the middle of the
Bend
road.
of the road.
Yeah.
We got one street coming this way.
Listen,
One street coming that way.
Jerry.
He's on the
Look,
corner.
Very important.
I'm in the middle of the road.
Jerry,
Drunk.
don't get run over.
No, he's walking the streets of Virginia right now by tailgating. What are you trying to...
That phone's going to be evidence in
If
a
you're
minute.
trying to sell your body or something, we really don't condone that kind of thing, Jerry. And I see you have no customers,
You
so...
had a body like mine. Look, I'm getting ready to change it over into my mankini.
Oh, God, help us.
No.
And we're going to go into the Virginia Tech versus Notre Dame.
Okay, all right.
Touchdown, Jesus.
All right, he's focused on football
He's
instead
going to
of
be
diving.
topless and painted.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's a tech guy.
No, I'm a Notre Dame guy.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, because he has a slight hunchback, so...
I'm in the lion's den of the evil world.
He's
right
very
now.
religious.
I don't see any green. Where's your green?
It's his underwear's kind of moldy.
Whoever's furnishing alcohol, I'm for that team.
Okay, all right.
And unfortunately, it's Virginia Tech this weekend.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Jerry.
Low-lived alcohol.
Okay, all right, sign off. You're going to say something you're not supposed to any second
Speaking
here.
of hokey,
So sign off. You're making too much racket. Yeah, okay, you are.
I love how he's rolling around in the middle of the street, making a lot of noise, and like nobody cares.
Well, you can see that plain as day on
They
YouTube
are
and Facebook and
unimpressed.
Twitch today. Yeah. And I think we apologized in advance for that.
I don't know what that was.
So, yeah, I don't know if he has any spirits wandering around him today, but he's definitely indulging in a few of those. So we'll see how that unfolds, I guess, next week. So Jerry's off playing football, viewer today, and, well, he's out playing drunk.
I don't think he's playing football. He might be watching it, but he ain't playing it.
He's participating.
He's a fair weather fan.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah, he said whoever gives him alcohol, he'll root for.
I don't know. It looks pretty stormy out there. I wouldn't call him a fair weather fan with all that front moving into him.
Well, he ain't going to care. He's so liquored up. He probably needs a good washing about now, the way he looked to
And
me.
electrocution.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, light him up.
Shock some sense into him.
He may blow up with you.
Dear
Right.
Jerry, please get out of the road.
Mm-hmm. So, we'll let him off this week because, well, we want to stay on the air. And,
Why did the Jerry cross the road?
For a cold Bud Light, of course.
Duh. Okay. All right. So, anyway, we have CJ in the studio, Scuba Radio, Scuba Squad, made up of Barry the Bugger, Pete from Scuba Board, Vinny Two Tanks, and Casey the Tobacco Nut.
Hey.
Yes.
You know what
CJ.
they should do underwater? I don't know if this has been done before. This would be a really cool
Who?
Halloween experience.
Yeah, what would it be?
Shoot pumpkins with the spear fishermen.
Spear guns?
Yeah.
Actually, that is a cool idea.
Thank you.
It
No,
is.
actually shoot them with the spear fishermen. Yes.
Now you've just went off the rails.
I was just talking about shooting up pumpkins would be cool.
Okay, just blasting stuff
Actually,
up.
that's good practice. That would be good practice.
I think so. It could be educational. See,
I
Greg?
say we
always
send,
thinking.
We send Barry down with a pumpkin head, so you make it a little bit more challenging for the spear fishers, right? And he swims around, and if they
Like the headless horseman?
yeah.
Big old pumpkin on his head.
Right.
Thank you, Vinny.
Why?
Is it going to be what is it with the apple on the head?
No. You put it over your head like a mask.
Yeah.
You'll have some protection. It won't.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It'd be 50-50 chance that it'd pierce the inner gourd of the pumpkin there.
Dude, you're talking about a 98% fatality rate at that point.
Yeah, you got to make it fun.
It's too dangerous.
The eyes have it. Ooch.
I say we do it. I mean, have you seen that new Netflix show, Squid?
No.
I mean, so they play the games
stupid
to the death. And, when you add that element, it does make it pretty exciting.
I don't know.
I've got a title for our show.
Yeah, what's that, Casey?
Powerhead for Pumpkinhead.
Ooh. Sucks. But
Dylan on that one.
But, yeah, okay. So, you can take any of these ideas and work with them or totally ignore them. But the thing is you should use the season to inspire you to do a different type of dive. That's really my underlying.
Oh, you've got a message.
Exactly.
That's adorable.
I'm trying to inspire people.
You're so cute.
Greg.
To shoot me with a spare gun. That's what you're inspiring.
Well, yeah. Hey, who wouldn't want to do that?
Not for real.
Pete?
Not for real. We just film it. It's all Hollywood magic.
No.
All the blood is fake.
No. It's totally real. That's how you get the ratings. Like that Squid Game on Netflix. I'm telling you. If you win, you win a big prize. If you lose, well, you die. It kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Ups the stakes.
Yeah, exactly. More coming up. Stay close.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Conventional underwater scooters can be heavy, unwieldy, and underpowered. At just over 8 pounds and with speeds of up to 7 miles per hour, the Scuba Jet Pro dive scooter is a game changer and fits in your dive bag. The Scuba Jet Pro uses an eco-friendly jet engine with impeller technology. With adapters, it can even power paddleboards, canoes, kayaks, and all kinds of water sports equipment. It's the most versatile scooter you'll ever own. Learn more and get the Scuba Jet Pro at ScubaJet.com. That's ScubaJet.com.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving, flying, and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving, flying, and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why I wanted to tell you about Nanook Professional Protective Cases. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook cases generally cost less than similar products currently on the market. From an iPhone to a full set of dive gear, whatever you need to shield from the elements, Nanook Professional Protective Cases has the size, shape, and color for you. Go to Nanook.com. That's NANUK.com for Nanook Professional Protective Cases. The evolution of protection.
Hey, baby, what's going down?
Later, nerd.
Are you lacking with the ladies?
Nope.
Enhance your scuba superpowers with a new ScubaRadio hat.
Wow, nice hat.
Just picked it up at ScubaRadio.com.
Buy 2 ScubaRadio hats and get free shipping.
Need a dive buddy, sexy?
Always. And I got a Scuba Radio hat for you, too.
New ScubaRadio hats are now available at ScubaRadio.com.
So cool.
Order yours today, or stay a loser.
Let me tell you about a friend I know. He's got the world's first scuba diving radio show. So now everywhere I am, everywhere I go, the first thing that I tune to is Scuba Radio.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. I'm not the only one looking for spooky dives. I mean, if you Google this article from Patty, they have an article on just that, spooky dives around the world. One of them happens to be in a water-filled mine in Minnesota, and some divers there have set up a an underwater statue or something of Jason from Friday the 13th. And you go down there and dive around. It's real spooky at night and stuff like that. And that'd be kind of cool.
All they have is the one thing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a video of it and the whole thing, and it does look kind of creepy. I don't know if it's just...
Some people do that with available wrecks. They'll take a wreck and decorate it. And...
make it spookier by putting...
the ones that have the swim-throughs, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, Pete from Scuba Board, yeah.
When we were on break there, I went and looked on Scuba Board, did a search there for graveyard diving, and at least a dozen links came up right off the page. So
real graveyards that are underwater that you can dive.
You have a hard time with this, don't you?
Well, I've never heard of this.
I don't know, but you didn't understand what they said. Some lakes where they filled the lake.
Yeah,
China
filled in some lake, and they go diving there.
They covered a little town that used to have a graveyard with water.
Yeah. No, it still has the graveyard, but now you can dive it.
It's just deeper.
They used to have a town.
Yeah, you could dive that too.
No, I get it. I just hadn't never heard of these sites. No one's invited me to go on a graveyard dive before. I've never heard of this.
Change your deodorant.
Yeah, you've never done that, have you, Pete?
Put that at the top of your list.
Have you ever done one of those dives, or you just heard about it?
I dove a family graveyard.
Yeah.
Once in a lake. I have also dove a cenote where Indians had interred bones. I'm not allowed to tell you the name of the cenote.
Oh, wow. That's creepy. Where like hundreds of people were sacrificed. Ooh. I'm getting chills up the back of my fins right now. More coming up.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Hi, this is Mermaid Cat.
What are you doing here?
You can check me out at mermaidcat.com.
Holy moly!
In the meantime, keep listening to Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
That's some language you got there.
Now here's a guy. If he was a merman...
But why would you even say that?
I might let him penetrate the mucous membrane of my mermaid tail.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Greg, the dive master.
Yes, master.
Now get away from me, you sick bastard.
You are one sick bastard, you know that? But I like your style.
Okay, I'll take it. This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. Halloween dives, spooky dives, kind of what we're talking about at the moment. Maybe something to add to your list. Maybe you never thought about doing something like that, but this is the time of season to maybe rethink that whole idea. And, whether it's diving in an underwater cemetery, which, this would be the time to do something cool like that. Now, I don't know where we would go locally. Maybe we could find something over in the Springs of Florida. Pete from Scuba Board might know a spot that we can, dive into. I'll tell you, Devil's Den, which is a very famous landmark dive there over in, near High Springs, Ocala area, right? Did I get that right, Pete?
It's near Ocala. It's not near High Springs. It's Williston. It's right
Williston, there you go.
Florida.
Right. Now, Devil's Den.
Troy Springs.
Is it? Well,
Springs has a wreck in it. That's always fun. A Confederate wreck at that.
Right. But Devil's Den looks spooky, and the devil is in its title.
And across the street, you have Blue Grotto, which is also pretty spooky looking.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound as spooky as Devil's Den.
It sounds like a bar.
Blue water.
Yeah.
It's got Disneyland water.
Well, they're feeling a little blue at the moment, so maybe you'll cheer them up.
Okay. I don't even know what that means. Do you?
Vinny, Disneyland water?
Yeah, what does Disneyland water mean, Vinny?
When you see any type of Disney epic, the water's always perfectly clear blue. It's it's just...
Oh, so you're saying like a Devil's Den because the water is like air clear, spring fed? Yes. Yeah, but it has this real foreboding vibe about Devil's Den because it's a sinkhole that collapsed and the sea moss is hanging from the edge of the top of the roof, and you walk down the steps into the water area there of Devil's Den, and it's creepy looking, man.
Well, that would be a place to decorate for a party.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you don't even have to decorate. Yeah, Pete.
Creepy down near you, Greg, is the the Hudson Grotto, because they've got all that stuff they put in the side of the wall. It's a little bit darker than a spring. It's very clear at the bottom. And there's also Paradise Springs down there Orlando way.
Yeah, any cave
really
system,
cool.
I think, kind of falls in that category of spookiness. You know?
Sure.
Because even if you're diving during the day, you get down in a cave, it kind of looks a little creepy. And you never know what you're going to experience down there. Usually not much as far as marine life. But as far as the look, yeah, crawfish, things like, well, no, they look alien.
Well, especially when they're white and they're
True.
in the cave.
Transparent, the whole thing.
It could be chilling. I mean, that could be just from the water temp.
Yeah. You could go to Malaysia and dive the turtle tomb.
There you go.
Yeah, evidently there's a site there where a bunch of turtles went to die, and
damn, that is weird.
And you dive Turtle Tomb, which
gnarly, dude.
You know, we have Turtle Town right there in Jupiter, Florida, and maybe there's a turtle tomb around that area too. Because I mean, when the turtles are done and they have to retire from a active lifestyle there on the east coast of Florida, they got to go die somewhere. And you could go dive over them.
It's a long way to go.
I mean, it is. The stretch between Turtle Town and Turtle Tomb, that's Malaysia. Jupiter, Florida to Malaysia.
Around the world.
Wow. No wonder they died.
Some swimming Turks.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That'd be kind of creepy. So, caves.
You'd have to hitch a ride on a
I have to
boat
confess something at this point.
Yeah, go ahead.
When I'm on my rebreather in a cave and I hear bubblers coming,
yeah,
I often will back up into a nook and crevice and turn off my lights. And as they pass under me, they're looking. They can feel I'm there. They just don't see where I'm at.
Yes. Who needs Jason from Friday the 14th? Friday
14th?
The 13th.
You know, you could really scare the hell out of them.
Pete from Scuba Board from Friday the 14th. The movie that never came out.
Yeah.
But it sounds pretty creepy if he's in the crevices of a cave system waiting to pounce on some unsuspecting diver that's swimming around enjoying the sights.
It's dark. Whoa! He's in the crevices.
Yeah.
And you'll never see him coming.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. That's pretty spooky. But wreck dives, cave dives, spring dives like Devil's Den. I mean, there's a whole list of, different types of dives.
Not just Florida.
And just, you know what? Any night dive is kind of on the spooky side. Wouldn't you agree? Especially, because you can't see what you're jumping into. And especially if you're new to doing night dives.
Greg, no man here is going to admit to being scared.
Well, scared might not be the right word. It might be energized. Your senses are on fire because you're just so amped up. The adrenaline's flowing because you don't know what to expect. And you're jumping into a night dive or a situation where you can't see below you. That fear of the unknown always comes into play. Are you telling me? You don't tell me, CJ. You don't get nervous on a night dive.
No.
Never?
Nope.
Liar.
I think night dives are much more fun.
Well, they are.
Senses.
But initially, when that one, there's that moment in time right before you jump in to any kind of dive that you're not, you don't know what to really expect. There's a little apprehension there sometimes.
On the very first
know
night
that
dive.
the great white is sitting right off.
Exactly.
And you're the first one in the black water.
Right. Come on, Barry. Admit it. You've screamed like a little girl before a night dive sometimes, haven't you?
No, but dusk dive I think is spookier because you could still see everything, but it's all in black and white.
What the hell is he talking
feeding
about?
time.
What do you mean black and white?
There is, look.
What are you, colorblind?
No, during the daytime, you see the bright colors of everything.
Yeah.
At nighttime, you really don't see anything other than what your light lights up.
Shadows.
But at dusk, it's that grayish color.
Okay,
It's
grayish.
not quite bright enough for color, and it's not dark enough for being.
Okay. Pete from Scuba Board, what say you?
Do you remember the night dive we did off the I can't believe I can't remember the boat. The Aqua.
The Aqua boat. The Aqua View?
The one in
No,
water.
the one with the dual hull, the Aquacat. The Aquacat.
Oh, yeah. Liveaboard, right.
And we had done a shark dive earlier the day where they fed all these sharks on this very shallow reef.
Uh-huh.
And then we did a night dive in the same spot. And all those sharks were still looking at us like, got food? Got food?
True.
That was kind of cool.
It is very cool. Can be a little bit intimidating sometimes,
Are
if
you
you're not
they
sure.
weren't looking at you thinking second course?
Possibly, and that is where the apprehension comes in, and
fun.
gives it a little edge. Vinny Two Tanks, what do you
That's
think?
why I always marinate your buddy.
Marinate.
I just wanted to mention that one time, Butch and I always used to go on the night dives, and we were in a Turks and Caicos trip,
right?
And I had just gotten a new 800 lumen flashlight, and there was about 4 of us going in this direction, and finally I took my flashlight and just pointed it out, see how good it was.
Right.
And I saw several big bull sharks circling us.
Yikes!
And they were using us to hunt because we were stirring up the fish in front of us as we were going along.
Yeah.
And they were just circling around us and dashing. I could see them doing it.
Yeah, they were using your flashlights as a guide on what to.
I mean, if you were a new diver, it might have caused you to be a little scared because they were huge and they were circling right around us.
Right. Did you mess your shorts just a little, Vinny?
What?
Nothing.
Yeah.
So
you make brownies.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think whether you're willing to admit it or not, any night dive, especially at the very beginning, if it's a new site, something you're not familiar with, you're going to have a little, there's going to be that little edge to it. It's going to make you a little apprehensive, maybe, but once you jump in and you're kind of overwhelmed by what you see, and kind of the fear dissipates pretty quickly, generally, and stuff like that. But there's a little bit of that, and that's what I think, people are drawn to horror movies and things like that. It's the same kind of exciting factor that you get. So, go ahead, Vinny. What?
There's also the going in at night and coming out when the sun comes up, or going in just before sunset and going into the dark.
Right.
Change of animal. That is pretty interesting.
It is. They do that, that dawn dive on the liveaboard trips with Explorer Ventures, and I have yet to ever do one because I'm not a big fan of getting up at the crack ass of dawn. But that's probably just me. It has nothing to do with the fear thing. It has something to do with the sleep thing.
Would you like to talk diving? Greg the Dive Master's all toweled down and ready to take your call now. Call Scuba Radio at 1-888-88-SCUBA.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, know Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of Scuba Radio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures Scuba Radio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Power, simplicity, reliability. It's what you demand of your dive computer. And Shearwater delivers. Shearwater evolved out of one tech diver's need for a reliable, easy-to-use rebreather dive computer and quickly became the tech market leader. Now recreational divers have taken notice. The Shearwater Peregrine is a simple, full-color, multi-gas dive computer. It's also the most economical Shearwater dive computer released to date. Check it out and the entire line at shearwater.com. Shearwater. Dive computers for demanding divers.
Do you have a message or a product that you'd like to share with the diving world? Well, look no further than Scuba Radio. Just like you, thousands of diving enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to ScubaRadio.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Take a look at it on the ocean floor. Just go down there, take your scuba gear and go down there. One of you would do that, I know.
Ain't no egos, never any egos. No egos underwater.
Oh, no egos underwater.
Ain't no egos, no egos. No egos under.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ's in the studio with me. We got the Scuba Radio Scuba Squad connected via the web. Barry the Bugger. We got Pete from Scuba Board, Vinny Two Tanks. We got Casey the Tobacco Nut. And, of course, that's not enough. We had to bring the dive god on, Mr. Neil Watson, with us to actually preview a little guest that we're going to have at the beginning of hour 2. Sergio is going to join us, and I'm not going to say much more than that, but Neil was the one who kind of turned me on to a story. It's a pretty inspiring one at that, because Sergio has encountered some pretty crazy challenges, and he's on his way back to scuba diving. And we're going to, get into that story in hour 2. But I wanted to bring the dive god on for a couple reasons. One being, well, he's the dive god, so how can you do a scuba radio show without one, right? Yeah, you must have his blessing.
At least once a month.
At least, yeah. And, we've been talking about Halloween-themed dives there lately, Neil. So before we get into the news about Bimini and some of the new offerings that they have you ever done anything special for Halloween when it comes to dives back in the day in Bimini, like underwater pumpkin carving, like Captain Slade or any of that kind of stuff, or no?
No, I did the Easter egg hunts, but I never did anything Halloween that I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I never did. Not sober. I started Halloween in Bimini back in the 70s.
Right.
They didn't do Halloween, and I said, I'm going to do a big party, and it's going to be costumes and dress up. So come to the big game. I'm going to have a band. Everybody showed up in like suits and ties and everything. They didn't get the memo. I swear to God. But I was about a 7-foot tall Frankenstein, and everybody's freaking out. So the next year, it was insane. They must have spent the whole year doing these insane costumes, and none of this stuff you buy in stores.
Right.
It was, homemade, and it turned into an annual extravaganza event.
So back then, the Bahamians didn't really. Well, it's not a Bahamian
we need pictures.
holiday.
We need pictures.
But so you kind of brought Halloween to the
Bimini.
Bahamas.
They might have done it in Nassau or some of the biggest islands, but it just wasn't something celebrated. Certainly on a big scale, in Bimini. But it was more the following year was just outrageous. It was so much fun.
Any excuse to have a party in the Bahamas, they'll find a way to get on board.
Well, the neat thing about the Bahamas, they celebrate American holidays, British holidays, and Bahamian holidays.
Right.
So that,
the more the merrier. That was my point. Yeah. Any excuse. Right.
Any excuse.
Well, I got to say, we got some big news because the Virgin Atlantic cruise ship just started sailing again, and one of its ports of call is Bimini, right? And that it's been going quite well so far.
The Scarlet Lady, which it's a beautiful ship. It's a smaller ship, but it's Sir Richard Branson's style. It's adults only, which also caters to singles only, and I mean it has everything from tattoo parlors to just really crazy funky stuff. Stores with vinyl records and stuff, and your suites has a record player in it, all kind of stuff. But they partnered with Resorts World in the Hilton at the north end of the island, and built this luxurious beach extravaganza property where with giant pools and cabanas and DJs and restaurants and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a port of call. They do like a bonfire at night, all kind of stuff. It's really, really funky. And they the maiden voyage was earlier in the week, and we have a water sports contract, and we had a big group of both snorkelers, another group of divers, and another group for the dolphin experience. And the really neat thing is, I mean, normally you don't get that much business off cruise ships because everybody's 90 years older.
Right.
But the demographics on this was like
worked out pretty good.
Yeah, my son said, they were in their mid 40s. It was great.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're excited about it.
Well, so they dive with Neil Watson Jr. and take in some of the Bimini attractions underwater. Now, Casey the Tobacco Nut was scheduled to be on that boat.
I'm going to be over there in 2 weekends.
When is it, Casey? 2 weeks from now, you're on there?
Yeah, I leave the 20th.
Okay.
Fantastic. Well, I'll make sure you get the Greg Holt cost plus 50%
That's
special.
Right. Yeah. He'll take care of you, all right.
Remember, I bring cigars. So.
Oh, you bring cigars. Okay. All right.
Well, hey, my son's a cigar smoker too, so that'll go a long way. I'm gonna put that in my calendar. I'll try to get over for that weekend for sure.
There you go. Yeah, because you need someone.
A week, whatever. I don't know if it's on the week, whatever. No, every day is a weekend for me.
Yeah. So Casey can come over there and you can feed him to the sharks.
Yeah, we're going on the dolphin swim with my wife and doing some different things, but I'm looking forward to being over there.
So it'll be Halloween. Before Halloween.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, there you go. All right. Then.
I'll tell you what, the wild dolphin. That's my favorite. That's my favorite experience.
Okay.
Really. I mean,
that is.
I love the sharks and whatever, but that is just so cool. Just hanging with pods of dolphins in their natural habitat.
Absolutely, it's so great. Neil Watson, Google it. Bimini Undersea Bimini Scuba Center, I should say. Is all you have to do is find them and book it. Or get on the Virgin Atlantic cruise ship if you want to head over there, like Casey. All right, hour 2 is on deck. We're going to talk to Sergio and have a pretty cool story for you next. Stick around. Just getting started on the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Scuba Radio. This seems the logical place for fish to congregate.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past editions of Scuba Radio worldwide over the internet at ScubaRadio.com.
So we're in international waters? Indeed so.
Tell a friend and buddy up with your radio every week for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Well, it's all very nice here, but we should be going. I miss me wife and me oxygen.
Yes, we all miss our loved ones and gases. Let's go.
The opinions you just heard on Scuba Radio are those of the hosts, callers, and guests.
Okay, what I just heard? Blah, 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 blah.
They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
Come on, quit yanking me.
Scuba diving does involve risk and should never be conducted without proper instruction and training.
Oh, what's the worst thing that could happen?
I could die.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at ScubaRadio.com.
Hello there. Don't be alarmed. We're just preparing your listening device for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving. We do this, of course, by filling your radio with water. Don't worry, we're professionals. Thanks to me, you won't even get wet. You see, I've crammed every appendage of my body into the cracks and crevices of your radio, ensuring an airtight seal. By the way, don't touch your on-off knob. That's a very sensitive area. Anyway, I should remind you, we believe in the buddy system just like diving, so don't listen alone. Call your buddy and tell them that Scuba Radio is about to begin.
We're gonna start a new life under the sea.
So, am I gonna drown?
Of course not. Just stay calm and let the gentle currents relax your every muscle.
Under the sea. Under the sea.
Did it just get warmer?
There'll be no accusations, just friendly crustaceans under the sea.
Where the hell are the sharks?
And now, here's your dive guide for Scuba Radio, Greg the Dive Master.
And welcome to Hour 2 of the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ's in the studio with me. We got the ScubaRadio Scuba Squad connected via the web. Barry the Bugger. We got Vinny Two Tanks, Casey the Tobacco Nut. Even from ScubaBoard.com, Pete is with us as well.
Buenos dias.
Yes, we got a full crew. But look, we got a really cool story for you right now, or I don't know, something I find very inspiring. Sergio is with us. Sergio, welcome to Scuba Radio. How are you?
Hi, Greg. We're doing great. Unfortunately, we're having a big thunderstorm, so you're going to be listening some thunder.
No problem. We'll make the best of it. Now, Sergio, first off, I don't even want to attempt your last name, but I want to get it out there, Sergio. Go ahead and say it for everyone, because I know I won't even get it right.
Last name is Basque, and it's Echeverria. Sergio Echeverria.
Okay. All right. I'll just leave it at that. You want to repeat that, CJ?
Sergio Echeverria.
Wow.
Good job, JC.
Wow. That is amazing. I can't believe he got that. How did you do that? Did you read that somewhere?
Oh, I'm a professional.
He is. He's much better than I. But Sergio, regardless, you got an inspiring story, because what is great is that, you got an event happening a week from today to help fund some diving activities that you want to partake in. Because, first off, let's back up and tell your story. This happened in February. What happened to you?
That's correct. I was visiting our family farm, and it was a cold day, probably in the 40s, but It was warm enough that the snow was starting to melt. One of the first things we do when we go to the farm, because it's a large area of space that my father-in-law and my mother-in-law put together for the kids to get them out of trouble.
Yeah.
I have to warm the vehicles that we use on the farm. So I started with a golf cart, and I went up the silo to warm up the engine. I put it back down. That's about 9:30. I was warming up the best vehicle we have, which is a four-wheel drive vehicle. And I was going up the hill, and immediately, like a wave, like a slide of mud and ice hit me. And the vehicle went backwards. I tried to correct myself, and I ended in a about 10 feet deep ditch under the vehicle. So I immediately tried to yell for help. I could not move. I couldn't move my arms. I couldn't reach my phone, which is in my pocket. And 2 hours later, thank God, another individual went through the same path and saw me, because he had to feed the animals, and they rescued me. And I spent the first 15 days up in Albany Hospital, and then my wife, that is a miracle maker, was able to fly me down to the Lynn Rehab Center, and Dr. Green at that time, he's retired now, was the main doctor taking care of me, and Dr. Nadal. And that was, 7.5 months ago, and I intend to continue as hard as I can to get in the water.
Well, you were an avid spearfisher and diver for years before this happened, right?
Oh, that is correct. I have dived over 10,000 dives. I have my license back in 92, 93.
Yeah.
I partake as an independent instructor, I partake with several dive shops whenever they needed to fill in the holes.
Mm-hmm.
I also do my real estate down here in South Beach, and I promote, you can imagine, just add water.
There you go. Well, it makes sense. Yeah. And so here you got an avid scuba diver, very active, has this tragic accident, and you can't see him on Facebook or YouTube today because we didn't hook that system up. But Sergio is in a wheelchair today, and you're in rehab, but you are pretty limited on what you can do at the moment. Is that right?
That is very correct. I don't have any utility out of my fingers. I can move more than what I was diagnosed. They believe that I have surpassed what I was not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks ago, I had the privilege of getting in the water in the swimming pool and be attended all by myself, which was great, with people that were there to help me float.
Right.
And the next week, I was able to float on my own using my body positioning and breathing. And that's one of the things I have to improve. I have to improve my breathing so that my lungs become a good buoyant.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my left arms doesn't have a rotator cuff functioning properly. So it's very hard to swim backstroke or freestyle, so I swim like a breaststroke. But all this has been possible because some of my close or friends of my wife and her business, which is in the hotel business, volunteer the Hotel Shelbourne in Collins Avenue to provide me or allow me to use their wheel access and also to use the pool chair, which is a big problem because most of them either don't work or people don't know what to do with them.
Sure,
Because
yeah.
I tried like 3 different places, even the parks. They don't, oh, yeah, it's over there. It works. Well, I don't know. And that's cover. Why don't you take the cover off and show me that it works?
Right.
When they do that, something's wrong.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a whole different issue for sure. What I want to zero in on, Sergio, though, is that here you were an avid diver before this accident happened, and you were on a mission to get back into the water. And I can just hear it in your in the way you speak that you're upbeat about it. You're going to do this, and we've talked to people throughout the years here on Scuba Radio that have used diving or the chance to get back into diving as a goal to set for themselves. So it's not just therapy for overcoming the challenges that you're trying to navigate now, which are extremely difficult, but it's also mentally something to kind of keep you in the game. We see this with military folks that have had issues, but you're you're doing that journey, it sounds like. Is that right?
It is totally correct, because you need to have an outlook. You need to have a goal. And I am very lucky that I've always been positive in any other injury and trying to overcome them and maintain level of lifestyle. And right now, this was probably the hardest lifestyle change that I can think of.
I'm sure. Yeah, I can't imagine anything much worse than what you're dealing with. And that's why I wanted to bring you on today, because it's inspiring. Everybody has challenges, but when you ever get to that point where you feel, oh man, life sucks, I can't do this, and then you hear a story like Sergio, it's like you have nothing to complain about. And you need to be grateful for what you're, where you're at the time, and try to help folks, when you can. And that's what's happening right now. Your wife has spearheaded this effort. I mean, I know Neil Watson, the Dive God's involved in this fundraising effort to help you make that adjustment or do whatever you need to do with training and the facilities that you need to contract with to kind of get you back in the water. And this event is going to be a week from today down at where in Miami? Where is it?
Well, Miami has several centers that are being very important recently. One of them is the Wynwood. Wynwood is a neighborhood that used to be an industrial park where even Coca-Cola used to make Coke for Miami.
Okay.
However, a few years ago, some smart guy that couldn't pay the rent said, hey, there comes our Basel. Why don't we open some of these bays and let some artists do some work in there? And we charge for the entry, and they do their work. So that became the norm. Airbrushers or sprayers all over the world.
Right. Come to Windward, yeah.
And have painted with permissions the walls around Wynwood. There is another section there that is just like called Wynwood Walls, and that's all artwork. However, before this was really getting hot, my brother-in-law, which is in production company and production work, came with the idea of let's bring a place here to be open for production. So Wynwood was the place, and he established MAPS, Mobile Art Production Services, and it's a open lot that faces all 4 corners, and there are a couple of other structures around it, and you can shoot. Like last week, the Ferrari company was shooting all the new Ferraris that were coming out for 2022.
Yeah, like commercials, video, TV, whatever. Yeah, but I'm running out of time, Sergio, so I want to get it out there. And we have a link to his video on the Scuba Radio Facebook page, but it's next week, like starting at 5 p.m., I believe, 4 p.m.?
That's correct, 4 to 8 p.m. in Wynwood, and there will be, a lot of good stuff.
There you go. It's awesome. Sergio, we wish you the best. If you want to support him, check out that link on a Scuba Radio Facebook page. Attend the event and support his efforts. It's inspiring. Great stuff. Good stuff, Sergio. We'll keep following your story as well.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Be an explorer in the other 2/3 of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, know Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of ScubaRadio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures Scuba Radio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Power, simplicity, reliability. It's what you demand of your dive computer, and Shearwater delivers. Shearwater evolved out of one tech diver's need for a reliable, easy-to-use rebreather dive computer and quickly became the tech market leader. Now recreational divers have taken notice. The Shearwater Taric is the best, most intuitive, and reliable wristwatch-sized dive computer on the market. Check it out in the entire line at shearwater.com. Shearwater, dive computers for demanding divers.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Remember, you're swimming right now. Enjoy it. Don't grab for the water, man. Relax and just float. This is awesome.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. That's inspiring stuff, isn't it, CJ? Come on.
Really cool.
Sergio, what's his last name?
I'd have to hear it again.
Oh, I knew it. I knew you couldn't do it.
I didn't commit it to memory.
Yeah. We got a link to it, to the video about Sergio's story on the Scuba Radio Facebook page. So if you want to follow his story or get involved in the fundraiser next Saturday, definitely check it out and participate as you see fit. But the thing is, here's a guy who's living life. He's an active diver, has a tragic situation, and that, nobody sees these things coming.
Sounds like an avalanche.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, one of those fluke,
Mudslide, wasn't it?
Mudslide, yeah.
Fluke accident, paralyzed him. He's in a wheelchair. That was in February.
And he's
now,
paraplegic?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, he was telling me off air before we scheduled this that, he's made a lot more progress than the doctors thought he would at this point. So he's still in that kind of, situation where we'll see how much comes back. But chances are it's not going to be great regardless. He's never going to be the same, obviously. But the thing is, the beautiful thing about scuba diving is you're weightless. And Pete, I know, has seen this in years past with people that we've talked to, like Matt, for the guy who was in a similar situation, and he was really on a campaign to dive just like everybody else, because it's kind of the great equalizer when you're weightless like that. People that have those type of challenges can still get down underwater, and with the proper skill set and support staff, they can go down there and dive with us.
Support divers.
But both. I mean, you have your support staff, and you have to be, you got to figure out how to navigate the challenges that you have now been given by no choice of your own. Right?
They don't get a buddy; they get a team.
Well, exactly. True.
And I'm an adaptive instructor.
Yep.
Adaptive diver instructor, because we don't want to call it disabled diving,
Yeah.
adaptive diving. Everyone's got little problems
Right.
with dive heart. And you know what? If you can get into something like that, it puts a real purpose into your diving because you're helping others. And let me tell you, whatever you put in, you'll get tenfold back out.
I have no doubt about it. Yeah. I mean, just the stories themselves are inspiring to me, but yeah, you participate in that kind of stuff. It's very fulfilling. But I'm just inspired by the story because, like, I look at it from the standpoint of, like I said at the beginning when we brought Sergio on, it's like, when you think like, I don't want to go diving, this is too much work, or I've done this, or I'm not feeling it, and if you're not feeling it for physical reason, like you shouldn't dive. But if you're just kind of burnt out, or you're like, life blows or whatever, it's like, quit complaining. You're like, you're like the traffic sucks. I don't want to deal with the traffic, or like, just these little roadblocks we have a tendency to put in front of ourselves sometimes to keep us from experiencing, just the joy of diving. Because once you get out there and do it, you're just like, oh my God, this is awesome. But sometimes you put all these things in the way that keep you from that experience. And then when you hear someone like, Sergio, who's going through all these challenges to get to that one joy of diving that we all have a tendency maybe to take for granted. I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like, trust me, get out there and do it if you have the ability to do it, because you never know when, something could happen to you. You know what I mean? Pete, what do you think?
Yeah. Have you ever dove the Christ the Abyss statue?
Yeah, down there in Key Largo, sure. Yeah, in
well,
Penny
the guy
County.
who got it to Key Largo, who was responsible, was a guy named Gabe. I can't remember his last name.
Yeah.
And he suffers from macular degeneration, which means he can't see much further than 18 inches in front of his nose.
Yeah.
And I got to guide him twice to his statue,
Yeah.
And
Nice.
I tell you, it was just amazing to watch it because he had to feel it with his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we put gloves on it because it's covered with coral, fire coral. But it was truly amazing. I have a whole new appreciation for that statue, watching him dive it. Now, he didn't make the statue. He didn't have it built. He's the one who got it from Italy down to the Keys. He's the one who decided it was going to go to the Keys because he could have put it anywhere. He was in charge.
Right.
And if you can get into whatever it is, there's several of them out there. Dive Hard is who I work with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just amazing to help them out because blind people, autistic people, quadriplegics, paraplegics, all of them can dive if you take the time and learn how to take them diving.
There you go. There you go. And like I said, you get more out of it than they do sometimes. And that's the common thread, common story I hear all the time from folks that participate in that kind of stuff. It's, it's very fulfilling. So there you go. Take it for what it's worth. Participate. Help out Sergio if you can. Or just, if nothing else, just take the story and apply it to yourself. And just don't take things for granted. I mean, like I said, everybody has their challenges. Everybody has issues that pop up. And, I've had mine, nothing to the level of Sergio. But trust me, when these things happen, you always question. It's like, gosh, could I ever bounce back? Yeah, you can. Just when you think, oh, this is going to stop me from ever doing what I love to do. No, it's not. Only thing that's going to stop you is you. I mean, listen to Sergio. If he can do it, anybody can do it, is my point. Does that make sense? Are you inspired,
Yes!
CJ?
Yes!
Okay, there we go. There's the reaction.
Diving.
Yeah.
In, coach, put me in.
Yeah, there, see? It's working. It's working. We're here to inspire. To do, just don't take our lead. Just do, is that how it is?
Perspire.
Well, we could
sweat things out.
No one would know underwater if you're perspiring, right?
They'll know when you get back up on the boat.
Well, I don't know. It depends.
Wind catches you the wrong way.
No, you're all washed off at that point. You've washed the funk off into the ocean.
Not if you're just coming out of a sweaty wetsuit.
What? Nah, not if you're in the
Greg.
That would be before you jump in the water.
No,
maybe.
the smell of urine will get to you before that.
Whoa, hey! Who urinates in their wetsuit?
Ixnay.
I do, and I am proud of it.
What? Really? Do you, Barry? You're gonna admit that?
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I don't wear a wetsuit.
I do not do that.
It keeps me warm.
There are people who pee in their wetsuit, and there's people that lie about it. I don't do that.
And you know what that's called, right, Greg?
What?
That warm spot in your wetsuit? That's a urine cline.
Yeah, I knew there was bound to be a bad joke come out eventually, and there was. Reared its ugly head. More coming up.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, know Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of Scuba Radio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures Scuba Radio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Scuba action star Mike Scott is back in a new audiobook, Cayman Cowboys, Reefs Under Pressure. From author Eric Douglas comes the one that started it all. Listen as Mike deals with submarines, kidnapping, betrayal, and more.
He didn't even have fins or a mask to let him see in the water. He was going to be slow and blind. If it weren't for the float, he knew there would be no way he would ever make it to the surface.
Download Cayman Cowboys or Oil and Water, Return to Cayman, Turks and Chaos, and Lionfish at Amazon, booksbyeric.com, and audible.com.
Do you have a message or a product that you'd like to share with the diving world? Well, look no further than Scuba Radio. Just like you, thousands of diving enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to ScubaRadio.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Let me tell you about a friend I know. He's got the world's first scuba diving radio show. So now everywhere I am, and everywhere I go, the first thing that I tune to is Scuba Radio.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master, CJ in the studio with me, and then the Scuba Radio Scuba Squad connected via the web. Casey the Tobacco Nut, Vinny Two Tanks, Barry the Bladder, even from...
Sorry, what? What did you just say? Barry what?
Barry the Bladder?
Barry the Bladder.
Barry the Bladder, yes. Who just admitted he likes to relieve himself in his wetsuit.
And he had a song about it.
Pee Barry.
I don't know, to pee or not to pee in your wetsuit? Is that the question?
And he digs for iguanas.
Okay,
No,
I don't
dig for iguanas.
Is that a euphemism?
Yeah, I'm afraid it might be, and I don't think we should go any deeper into that
He
topic.
doesn't want to be impeded.
Yeah, and coming with the puns, bringing them on is Pete from Scuba Board. God bless him. Yeah, but I'm honest. I do not do that, especially in my own wetsuit. I don't like that idea of swimming around in my own juices. Just not a fan. But Barry, you are proud to admit it. You're one of those.
Yep. You want to borrow my wetsuit?
No, I do not. I do not.
That's the reason why.
I've even had people say, that don't wear wetsuits or just going in their, bathing trunks or bikinis or whatever and said, I wouldn't dive behind me if I were you. And I was like, whoa. So they're creating a wake.
I'm definitely a whiz kid.
Well,
Okay.
Barry, right? You're in the warm spot.
Yeah. Anyway, so I don't know what to think of that other than...
Moral of the story is stay ahead of Barry.
Or just, when you're diving in a group with a buddy that you don't know real well, maybe you want to go side by side.
Who needs
and not
an
single
Aquajet?
file. Aquajet. Yeah, then maybe go away. You could spread... you could,
That's a great idea.
Scuba jet.
Scuba jet, I'm sorry.
Scuba jet.
Oh, boy. I don't know how we got on this topic, but we probably should move off of it
Barry
as
just
quick as
blurted
possible.
it out.
Yeah, bury the bladder.
Honesty is the best policy.
That's going to stick, I think. Bury the bladder.
Better than Barry the bugger.
Okay, he said it, not me.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio. Weather is better when you breathe like a fish. Weather is better when you're making a wish. Right now I wish that I was making bubbles, diving away all of my troubles.
Hi, I am Peter, that guy from Humble Explorer and the Galapagos Islands. You are listening to Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to the diving. Now, here's the guy who likes stirring the boobies as much as I do. Roy the Dive Master.
Will there be boobies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got boobies in Galapagos. This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. And if you're in there, you might find yourself staring at the boobies. They have blue-footed. And take yourself, take your mind off the fact that, if you have Barry the Bladder as your dive buddy, he might be, marking his territory.
That's okay. You'll
under
be
the water
warmer behind me.
No, I will not be diving behind you from here to eternity. Now that we know, he's openly admitted he's come out of the urinal and admitted that's what he prefers to do. So I don't know. It was Barry the Bugger, but now it may have to be Barry the Bladder.
The gladder bladder.
Okay. Well, we'll just stick with
If
it.
Jerry
Keep
was
it simple.
here, he would mention the golden poltergeist.
Oh, jeez.
But he's not, so we won't.
He's probably going to make those with all the beers he's been having.
Well, it is the season of the witch.
He'll end up passed out in a ditch, and then on the way the game's over, and the fans are letting out of the stadium and just relieving themselves all over him.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's talk about other disturbing things, since we're kind of along that line right now. The Goliath Grouper has been under attack the last couple years from the fishing community in Florida. Now, these are, the old classic Jewfish. They changed it to Goliath Grouper. Massive, massive groupers. And quite a thing to behold underwater. We're talking the size of Barry the Bladder here, some of these fish. They're massive. And
That's so unfair.
What do you mean?
That's so appropriate.
I'm just trying to paint a picture.
They're a lot bigger than he is.
Well, it depends on the grouper, doesn't it?
Yeah, if they're baby, maybe, but
well, okay.
Yeah, they would be
Most of
bigger
them,
than Barry.
I guess they would be
are
bigger than
3 or 4 berries.
All right, they're bigger than Barry the Bladder. They're massive.
I have something to work towards.
But similar to Barry, they urinate underwater.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how that happens with the
Here's an
Goliath
important
Grouper.
clue, Casey. Everything urinates under the water.
And those of us who know better call them Jewfish.
Okay.
Just saying.
So Pete is definitely not one to, succumb to the political correctness of the Goliath Grouper, evidently.
It's not politically correct. It's politically incorrect.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a whole nother issue.
Worst enemy. Not going to do it.
That's a whole nother thing. But the Goliath Grouper will keep with what they're reporting right now and call them that. The fishing industry has won the right to start fishing these things after 30 years of the fishery being shut down for Goliath Grouper in Florida. So
In
starting
certain places, not everywhere, right?
Well, not everywhere, but starting in 2023, They're going to open up the Goliath Grouper fishery to like 200 a year that they can take. Now, it's interesting how they're setting this up. And, we've mentioned this before on the show. The diving community has been pretty much unified and being dead set against any kind of fishery opening up for Goliath Grouper because they're so valuable as a underwater tourist attraction.
So how do they track them? And you're supposed to register when you catch one?
Yeah, they're going to do a lottery system, or you buy a permit, kind of like you would for alligators in Florida. They're doing the same type of system where you can you can sign up for a permit, and then if you win, I assume it's a first come first serve permit buying or lottery system because there's only going to be 200 fish available, and if you win it costs you $500 to take a fish. So it's kind of crazy money wise, but the recreational fishing industry has been pushing for this for some time.
And it's only trophy wise because didn't you say they were not good meat?
I guess it's up to them. I don't know. But yeah, they say they're not very good eating fish because when they get that big, they get a lot of worms and stuff in them.
That's disgusting.
They
Yeah.
also get a high concentration of mercury.
Yeah, there's that. But hell, if you're paying $500, maybe you'll eat it anyway. I don't know what the hell they'll do with them, but it's a sport fishing thing. And when this issue came up a couple years ago, I didn't really get up on the bandwagon too much about it myself personally because I knew what was happening, which was the Florida recreational fishing community was pushing hard on this. And anybody who's dealt with the lobby in Florida and knows how the politics work knew we were going to lose this one. And I saw this coming a long time ago. I just know how much money is involved. And when they make their mind up that they want a fishery open, they're going to find a way. And so the fishing industry got together, recreational fishing industry got together, got their so-called studies to show that the Goliath Grouper were coming back. And you know what? There could be some truth to that. I mean, I'm not saying they're totally wrong either about the populations bouncing back. The question is, will they be able to sustain that recovery over time, especially if they start taking them out next year? So, it is what it is. It's unfortunate to say the least. But we, what are you going to do?
Is it a 1 year trial at least?
No, this is a new thing.
Just forever.
From their perspective,
they got to reassess.
Let me play devil's advocate for the fishing community, which I'm not a big fan of sometimes when it comes to things like this, obviously. But what they see is when the state or environmental organizations come in and say, hey, we got to close down, say red snapper fishery. The stocks are way down and they're being depleted by too much fishing, overfishing. Okay, all right, maybe that's true, and they'll say we got to close it down and shut down the fishery for a year or two to give the fish an opportunity to bounce back, and they do that. But once they close it down, the fishing community always starts getting freaked out because they'll never open it back up again, even if the fishery starts bouncing back. And that's kind of what has happened with Goliath Grouper. I mean, I think it's been 20, if not 30 years since, maybe it's 20 years. Do you know what it is, Pete? It's 20 it's 20 or 30 years the fishery has been shut down. And in that time, there's no question that you can see Goliath Grouper much more than you did, say, 10 years ago. I mean, I think that's, even anecdotally, you could talk to a lot of divers and see that, they see them more when they were practically fished out of existence, and you can't have that. But at what point do you say, okay, they've come back to a point where, okay, we can start taking them again and managing the fish population of Goliath Grouper to a manageable level where they're happy and the divers still are happy, and you're not, wiping them off the face of the earth. That's
I don't know. I didn't see the numbers. What is it?
Greg, they've been protected since 1990.
Okay, so I was right, 30 years. So
34.
Yeah. So, in that time, the studies have shown that they've come back. have they come back to the level that they need to be? That's, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. But the recreational fishing industry is like, well, look, they've come back. We ought to be able to take a few and manage the resource, for the fishing community, whether you feel that's, appropriate or not. And,
Why can they do catch and release?
I don't think
I guess that's already available.
These big
now.
fish are.
What, Barry?
I don't know if you can catch and release. These things are huge.
No, they do it all the time.
They do. You can't keep them. They are. But do they grab fishermen's bait? Yeah. And if you get one, you got to let it go immediately.
Right. But I mean, this is going to be the same as are the fishermen truly going to adhere to the maximum number that they could catch per year? Is it going to be like, lobsters? No one ever catches a short and keeps it. No one ever catches an egg-bearing female and keeps it.
Well, you're going to get, literally, it's one per person, and you have to pay a $500 fee. It's going to be set up like alligators.
That's the license, but he's saying, how do you enforce it?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
it's just like you would.
They don't sell any more licenses.
Yeah, exactly. You get a ticket. Yeah, I mean, are you going to have poachers? They don't. Well, maybe
that's
yeah.
the point.
People are poaching them now. So.
Yeah, exactly. Could poach it now, so that part of it isn't going to change. But still, I mean, it's one of those things. It's very unfortunate. I can only hope, or my hope is that at least if they do this, the fishery can handle it, and we can still see all the Goliath grouper we want to see. And it doesn't hurt the fish stocks of this magnificent animal to see under the water. It's just one of them things we got to deal with as divers. My thoughts, your thoughts next. Stay close.
Scuba Radio.
Would you like to talk diving? Greg the Dive Master's all toweled down and ready to take your call now. Call Scuba Radio at 1-888-88-SCUBA.
Power, simplicity, reliability. It's what you demand of your dive computer. And Shearwater delivers. Shearwater evolved out of one tech diver's need for a reliable, easy-to-use rebreather dive computer and quickly became the tech market leader. Now recreational divers have taken notice. The Shearwater Peregrine is a simple, full-color, multi-gas dive computer. It's also the most economical Shearwater dive computer released to date. Check it out and the entire line at shearwater.com. Shearwater. Dive computers for demanding divers.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving, flying, and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving, flying, and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why I wanted to tell you about Nanook Professional Protective Cases. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook cases generally cost less than similar products currently on the market. From an iPhone to a full set of dive gear, whatever you need to shield from the elements, Nanook Professional Protective Cases has the size, shape, and color for you. Go to nanook.com. That's NANUK.com for Nanook Professional Protective Cases. The evolution of protection.
Hey, baby, what's going down?
Later, nerd.
Are you lacking with the ladies?
Nope.
Enhance your scuba superpowers with a new Scuba Radio hat.
Wow, nice hat.
Just picked it up at ScubaRadio.com.
Buy 2 Scuba Radio hats and get free shipping.
Need a dive buddy, sexy?
Always. And I got a Scuba Radio hat for you, too.
New Scuba Radio hats are now available at ScubaRadio.com. So cool. Order yours today. Or stay a loser.
Prepare to rig for dive!
Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Here comes old Greg. He's a scaly manfish.
He's Greg the Dive Master.
What you doing in my waters?
The show is a disaster.
I got something to show you.
He's Greg the Dive Master.
Hi there.
Master. Dive Master. Dive Master. Dive Master.
Come on, Greg. Pleased to meet you.
I'm Nart. Hello, fishies.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. Old Greg?
We could probably retire that one. No?
You don't think? You really actually that's a classic. I don't know.
Knock yourself out.
There's only so many times that I can be called Old Greg.
Well, I mean, you put that in there.
That
was not in the original song.
What are you talking about? It's old. He's Old Greg.
Right.
He's a scaly manfish.
Right.
Yeah, and your point is what?
You could take that out of there.
Yeah, I don't know.
He likes it.
It sounds like work to me. I don't have time for that.
Very, very little work.
No.
You could do that easily.
None of that
less
is
than,
allowed.
Less than 3 minutes.
Don't even say that word. That 4-letter word
3
is not
minutes?
allowed. Oh, God, who's dying? Who has corona? Who was that?
Rona.
Oh, boy. All right, look, a couple little
California, don't worry about it.
program notes that I want to pass along. This Tuesday will be the first DEMA online seminar, and yours truly, Old Greg, he's Old Greg, gets to host it.
What time?
I want to say what is it? Let me look here. 1 o'clock.
That's the day Captain Kirk goes into space.
What are you talking about? The 12th of October?
Yeah.
1 p.m. Eastern time.
You're up against that?
Is he going up this Tuesday?
Yep. He's going up this Tuesday
Really?
as long as the weather's good.
Well, he'll probably be tuned into the seminar then, I would imagine, because he's just going to be sitting there. What else does he have to do?
They could sew his hairpiece right into his helmet.
They could do that. But yeah, the DEMA.
That sounds like it would be a fire hazard, wouldn't it?
Possibly, yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the DEMA online seminars kick off this Tuesday. They're going to happen every Tuesday and Wednesday leading up to the DEMA show. DEMA is the Diving Equipment Marketing Association trade show. Is trade only, but we're going to give you a little backstage pass, glimpse behind the curtain of the dive industry when they have that in-person, face-to-face event for the first time in a couple of years in Las Vegas, middle of November. But once again, this Tuesday is the first online seminar. And what it is, they hire these speakers to give tips on how to make your dive shop better, how to work out new online systems to promote your dive-related business, all these experts in that type of, category. And they have me there to kind of help manage and do a little tap dance, song and dance routine before they bring the main act on.
I didn't know you were a song and dance man.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to be there to help.
Like Sammy Davis Jr. type stuff?
You know what? I can do a little
like
tap
you can
dance.
tap dance on stairs?
Song and dance.
That's another level.
I got a whole song and dance routine that I do when to keep things moving.
With a cane?
I might use a cane.
Will you be playing guitar?
You know what? There's been some talk of it. So if people really want to be abused and they make the request, well, hey, who am I to keep them from?
Maybe the ukulele will show?
Yeah, it could be a whole bunch of craziness.
A tribute to the islands.
Probably.
Aloha, says Old Greg.
The comments will probably be more like, please, Greg, don't do this. Don't do that. And I'll just sit there and say, hey, Cho from Hawaii, thanks for joining us.
People will be like holding up their lighters going, Mele Kaliki Maka.
Yeah, if I only knew that
Mele
song.
Kaliki Maka, dude.
I probably will not do anything
Tiny
musical.
Bubbles.
So even when I play my guitar, I probably won't do anything musical.
Just tap dance.
No, I mean, it's not really tap dance as much as it's maybe an epileptic seizure.
More of a dog and pony show.
Yeah, like
you could do your version of Barefoot Man Rum Cake.
Well, the girl from Seinfeld, what's her name?
Elaine.
Yeah, Elaine. The tap dancing kind of looks like her dancing. Probably is best I got.
I haven't seen her dance, so she can't dance.
She's not
she has seizures.
She's kind of known for not being able to do much. So I'm right there with her. So, these are things that could pop up on the online seminars. They might be something to witness live.
Maybe you could take a dance lesson
No.
online. That would be entertaining.
Why would I do that?
Dancing with the stars.
Will there be a quiz after the seminar?
We do this show. We've been doing it for almost 25 years. Why would we start providing any kind of quality talent at this point?
So you're saying people shouldn't tune in?
No, I want to deliver what they expect, which is the
As
crap
little
they
as
get
possible.
week in and week out on Scuba Radio. So
That's
you are
not
welcome.
true. Over the years, we have honed our skills to a fine edge.
Fine powder.
Okay. Well, if you are a member of the industry, I do encourage you to join the party starting Tuesday. There's going to be some extra elements involved. They're giving away a Peregrine dive computer from Shearwater at DEMA this year. We got some trips to Bon Air. We have all kinds of prizes and stuff. So if you join us for the online seminars leading up to the DEMA show, it might increase your odds to be in the know to participate in such things. So go to demashow.com or actually dema.org. Might be the website to register for all those things, okay? So there you go. That'll do it for this week, gang. And until next time, remember, it's always better. Where, gang? Come on.
Down. Where it's wetter.
Safe diving, everyone.
Y'all love Scuba Radio. On the boat or down below, if you want to stay in the know. If you be pressurized there, you'll want to be there on Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Scuba Radio. This seems the logical place for fish to congregate.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past editions of Scuba Radio worldwide over the internet at ScubaRadio.com.
So we're in international waters? Indeed so.
Tell a friend and buddy up with your radio every week for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Well, it's all very nice here, but we should be going. I miss me wife and me oxygen.
Yes, we all miss our loved ones and gases. Let's go.
The opinions you just heard on Scuba Radio are those of the hosts, callers, and guests.
Okay, what I just heard? Blah, 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 blah.
They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
Come on, quit yanking me.
Scuba diving does involve risk and should never be conducted without proper instruction and training.
Oh, what's the worst thing that could happen?
I could die.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at ScubaRadio.com.